Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. It's the Fruit Nut News on, of course, what day are we today? 10th of March, 2026. So I hope you're all okay. Beautiful day up in the northeast of England today. Beautiful day. Must be because we pay so much tax. And we stick that up to Keir Starmer. That's why we get good weather, maybe. I don't know. It could be. So, good evening, everyone. Looney Lena. Looney Lena's in first again. That's twice in one day, I think. Oh, she was in yesterday. I can't remember now. Anyway, Sharon Young second, Chris Taylor third. We've got Dave Hunter, Lillian Florence, Bill Gill's in, Yvonne Keely's in, Jen's in, Denise is in, Steve's in. How you doing, Steve? Hope you're okay. Kath Miser's in, Glenn Pearson's in, Christine Owen's in. Belinda's in, Aisha's in, John Brink is in, Pam's in. How you doing, Pam? Hope America's okay. Give our best to Donald Trump. We're on the way. Leslie Ann Rental's in, Angela's in, Gary's in, Shaz is in, Lisa's in, John O'Brien's in, Brian Wright's joining us tonight as well. Jack is in, Zina, Angie's in, Maznu in, Joanne's in, Mark Vakaz is in, DW's in, Kira's in, of course, and we got Lisa Steele, David Anand, of course, Brendan Corcoran. Sure, the numbers will go up here. Not bothered. Remember, we're not bothered about the numbers. We're just bothered about the people. That's all we're bothered about. So it's approximately 10 past 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Greenwich Mean Time. Getting mixed up there with the American situation there. So what do we got for you today then? Well, very interesting. One of our roving reporters posted the Melania 2026 video. This is an insight into Melania and what she does. Because we all hear about President Trump and this, that, and the other, but we don't really. I think this is the first time we found out actually what the First Lady does. Very interesting. Now, absolutely eye for detail. That's all I can say. But what I picked up, I've only watched about half an hour of it so far. What I picked up on it so far was a lot of compassion. A bit like Diana. Massive Michael Jackson fan. Who was a Michael Jackson fan? Well, Diana was a Michael Jackson fan. Now, the height difference is not overly different. I think there's about an inch in it. Another little telltale sign. The other one was the blue eyes. Melania has very, 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 very blue eyes. So I'm wondering maybe there could be some kind of a switch going on here. I don't know. I'm not gonna throw. I'm not going to throw my weight behind it because, of course, as you well know, what happens will happen. Somebody said to me today, Mark, what happens if we have a nuclear war? So I looked at him with a little smile on my face, and I said, best thing to do is duck. Anyway, clearly he wasn't very hammered or found the laughter in that situation. But anyway, I mean, to be honest, whatever happens. It just happens, doesn't it? There's, very, very little we can do about these idiots of the world that are running the place. The only thing that we can do is not only change ourselves, but we can just focus on the positive side of things. Try and focus on all of the positive stories that are coming out of the mainstream media, or even reading between the lines on certain things evolving to a certain letter called Q, maybe, Now, Ant Middleton, we sent Ant Middleton a direct message today telling him that the Fruit Nut community would be behind Ant Middleton. This is, of course, in regards to Ant Middleton standing for the London mayor. I did say to him that our 45 million followers will basically, are quite happy to come to London on a particular day and show our wares, so to speak. Very interesting. Anyway, we'll wait and see. Meanwhile, of course, Rupert Lowe is going massive on the rape gang inquiry. Now, we're not going to call it a grooming gang inquiry because that's a load of bollocks. Okay, we're going to call it for what it is. It's an actual rape gang inquiry. Did you know that 464 MPs were against having a national rape gang inquiry? What a fucking disgrace. What an absolute disgrace Westminster is, right? Now, I would imagine that the majority of the 464 are probably involved in some kind of, nefarious activities, should we say. And so an inquiry wouldn't be in their best interests. However, things do actually need to change. Things actually do need to change in regards to the word inquiry. Now, apparently, I didn't know this, but when you have an inquiry, okay, which is completely different to a criminal investigation, okay, you cannot be held accountable for anything that you say during the inquiry. Now, this is completely different to a criminal inquiry. When you have a criminal inquiry, you are, of course, open to scrutiny in regards to that investigation. So anything that you say may be used in evidence against you in a court of law. An inquiry is completely different. Now, I've got no idea who set this law up, but this fucking law needs to change. Because if we're having an inquiry into something and somebody says something that is not right, or it's a blatant lie, etc., those people need to be held accountable for what they said, whether or not that be a criminal investigation or whether or not it would be action against that person, thrown out of public office or whatever. So that definitely needs to change. So I think that Rupert Lowe needs to come out and tell us what the inquiry, what the situation is in regards to an inquiry is. Is something going to be done, or is it just going to pale into insignificance further down the line? Because it's no good spending 20 or 30 million on an inquiry if we are not going to hold people to account that have clearly fucked up in their job. Okay, so we need to know that. Now, the CIA are coming under massive scrutiny, not only for the Epstein shit, but which is still, heavily censored, I'll have you know. Now, the CIA apparently is facing a furious backlash from normal people now, because, of course, we of course already knew this as conspiracy theorists, but cures for cancer have been held back. So we are looking at machines like the Rife machine, frequency machines, light therapy, all that kind of stuff has already been proven, but of course it's been hidden and kept a secret by the CIA, like a lot of other fucking things. Let's get it out into the open. Now, I don't know whether you know, but King Charles is clearly Islamic. He's clearly Islamic. You don't really need to be a rocket scientist to work this out. Not quite sure when he converted. Not really bothered. Apparently, he converted in Turkey from Christian to Muslim, or should we say Islamic. I think that Muslim and Islamic are very different ideologies. Now, in 1996, he was challenged by the Mufti, the Mufti. Now, that's an interesting word, isn't it? The Mufti. I don't know whether I've got the spelling wrong there, or maybe I've got the pronunciation wrong. But the Mufti, I mean, it sounds like a very nice sexual delight. But, yes, very interesting. But, of course, the Mufti of Cyprus confronted him about this, and the Mufti was silenced rather quickly. So just shows you the power of the Mufti. Know what I'm saying? Anyway, also as well, if you noticed, King Charles pushes Islamic ideology at any given moment in time that he can, which is clearly proof that now, remember, in 2025, he did the call to prayer at Windsor Castle, you know, a sacred English stronghold, according to the history that we're not quite sure about. But anyway, there you go. But anyway, so, yeah, very unusual to do an Islamic call to prayer at Windsor Castle, you know, the home of, the home of the Knights of the Round Table, you know, the Knights Templar, you know, everything that was used to be good about England. Meanwhile, there's a big search going on at the Zorro Ranch. Now, the Zorro Ranch is the 10,000-acre bioweapon labs and testing facilities owned, of course, by Epstein. Now, apparently, Epstein wanted to seed thousands and thousands of women with his own genetic sperm. Now, I don't know whether he was doing this like physically, or whether it was like going to be this artificial insemination stuff that's knocking around these days. But anyway, we shall wait and see. Now, as you well know, according to the Q drops, Easter has always been the timeline that we have been aiming for. Unfortunately, being rather good at conspiracies, and of course predicting shit, it seems as though that we were quite a number of years in advance. Not unusual for me, that is. That's why I wasn't getting too excited about dates. But it seems as though that we have been we've just our only mistake is that we've got the wrong year. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be this year, but as things are going, the rate that things are going, I don't even think we're going to make it to next year. So I'm presuming it's going to be. I could be wrong. And I'm not even bothered if I am wrong or not. I'm not bothered. I don't worry about shit like that, because to me, that's all theatre. Now, the incoming leader of Iran, a guy called Hosseini. I don't know his first names because I can't pronounce them. so I'm not going to tell you his first names. Hosseini. Now, in 2018, Hosseini, who happens to be Persian, he's not Iranian, he's Persian. Now, now remember that Iran, let's not forget that Iran, was originally Persia back in the day. Now, this is a bit like, unfortunately, what happened, the fucking English and the Israelis got involved. And they basically, fucked everything up. And they did one of their, what we call a military coup. So this military coup, I don't even know when it was, 1938 or whatever it was, I don't care. But anyway, what they did was they replaced the good Persian leader, changed the name of the country to Iran, called everybody Iranian, and of course installed an Islamic regime. Now, where have we heard that before? Oh yes, Libya, Colonel Gaddafi, of course. Colonel Gaddafi was, made out to be a terrorist, a bad man, etc., etc. Fucking Colonel Gaddafi looked after his people like wano. Colonel Gaddafi was the only, well, not the only one, but Colonel Gaddafi, a very, very well-respected leader. Unfortunately, you see, the West have painted him as a mad dictator. Colonel Gaddafi, of course, was wanting to bring in his own currency to replace the petrodollar that we talk about. Federal Reserve, maritime law, birth certificate scam, etc., etc., etc. So there you go. And then, of course, let's look at Ukraine. What happened in Ukraine? Yes, another military coup. Everything was ticking away nicely in Ukraine in 2014 until, of course, the clown of Zelensky got involved. Put in there by Barack Obama, given $2 trillion, given $2 trillion to basically go and fuck up Ukraine and try and create a rift between Russia and, of course, installing a NATO country on Ukrainian soil, which, of course, is a bit like Hamas being introduced into Windsor Castle. Doesn't go down very well. Even more so, maybe the IRA being put in Buckingham Palace. That sounds about fucking the same thing. Anyway, who am I to call that? So Husseini has basically told America that the Persians, not the Iranians, the Persians will support America if there is a war between Iran and America. Remember, this speech was done in 2018. 6, 7, 8 years ago now. So, yeah. Now, a big shout out today to the sickest teacher in the UK. Well, probably. We're not quite sure. But very sick on a 1 to 10 scale. Now, this purple-haired twat that we can only describe works in a school in West Yorkshire. And basically, it's, as you well know, she has, I'm not quite sure whether it's a she or a he. I got no fucking idea. Anyway, she has pronouns called Z Berry. Now, over the last couple of days, of course, as you well know, it's been International World Book Day. This is where the kids dress up and they're allowed to go into school as characters of whatever choice they want to. The last time that happened, Harry went around in a Nazi uniform, which didn't go down too well for the Queen. But anyway, that's another story for another time. Now, apparently, 2 kids dressed up as Harry Potter and as Harry Potter characters. And Z Berry, not Miss Berry or Mr. Berry or Ms. Berry. No. Mr. Z Berry was so offended that she was physically sick by the outfits. Now, the local mayor, Tracy Brabin, because she's very, very worth a mention, she came out and said that our teachers should be able to feel safe in school. Fucking hell. Well, do you know what I would do? The FNN News would say to both of these characters, not only Z Berry, but also the West Yorkshire Mayor, Tracy Babin. Do you know what? You're both fucking sacked. Get your stuff, fuck off. That's what I'd say to them 2 pair. That's absolutely monstrous that these children were made to feel really bad. But of course, that's the way the school education system is going, ladies and gentlemen. We're all going down the road. They're all going down the route of pronouns, gender, purple fucking hair, orange muff hair. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Then we get to genders. I don't know how many genders we're up to now. Probably 764. I just fucking don't know. I've lost track. I can't keep fucking up with them. I mean, we've got kids dressing up as fucking sheep. Well, we got a lot of adults fucking running around as sheep. We've got kids dressing up as cats, pretending to be cats. Some of them are pretending to be dogs. Apparently, if you're a cat, apparently you're called a furry. I mean, that just sexually does my libido in completely. Anyway, absolutely unbelievable. Now, let's have a look at a few things that have happened in the financial situation. Now, here we had Federal Reserve apparently are having an emergency meeting on March the 18th. Now, apparently, they want to talk about money, apparently. I'm not quite sure whether that's the lack of or the fact that the Federal Reserve is fucking... the Federal Reserve's completely collapsed. They're having a meeting because they've collapsed. Let's have a meeting because we've collapsed. We've got no money. Fucking brilliant. Now, there has been reports that NATO have intercepted a missile over Europe. Not quite sure what country that was. It'll all come to light. But the question is, who fired it? Now, this is quite interesting because there's been some footage. There's been some footage where American warships have been bombing Dubai. There's also footage, okay, of Israel also bombing Dubai. Now, the problem is that the news cycles at the moment are so messed up with propaganda and misinformation. I actually wouldn't take any notice of any of it, and I fucking don't. I just read what's in front of me and what I find interesting, and then we'll just take it from there. Now, interestingly enough, I think it was last night, I said to Donald Trump something about, right, Donald, you know, I'm fucking fed up with my petrol going up, so I want you to do something about it. Anyway, apparently, overnight, it's dropped. So that's quite interesting. I have been told in the past that Donald does actually tune in, and why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? He would actually love it. And I've been told as well that President Putin watches as well. So yeah, there you go. So anyway, that's all hearsay. I'm not banding that around to get more followers and make more money out of everybody, because I don't make any fucking money out of it anyway. I have to do some proper English graft, landscaping and cutting grass, and I've been doing an edge for the last 2 days. My back and my shoulders, I'm nearly dying. I'm going to be in bed tonight by at least 8 o'clock, at least, if not 1:45. Brilliant. Now, apparently we've got reports of now 7 US soldiers killed. Unfortunately, there are also other reports that 1,300 have been killed. Got no idea. George Soros apparently moved 14 billion into physical gold. That was on Saturday night over a glass of wine, apparently. Now, I don't know who his banker is, but fucking hell, if you can do that, I mean, let's all sit in our armchairs and buy physical gold and push a button. Now, if you have noticed that the powers that be are basically burning down their own house, and what better way than the people that set up the situation or set up the system? What better way for them to burn their own fucking shit down? And of course, this is what narcissists do. You don't understand anything about narcissists, of course. You'll understand that narcissists will cut off their own nose to spite their face. And anyway, very interesting. Now, remember, it's never over till the fat lady sings, all right? And that's nothing to do with fat ladies, by the way. So if you're offended, fuck off. The White House Bible. Now, this is a very interesting one. Donald Trump posted this up today. I've spoken about it 2 or 3 times in the past over the last maybe 6 years. But this is the story of how a Bible from the Isle of Lewis ends up at the White House. It's a very poignant story. And of course, then we have to take into consideration the book that was written. I think it's called The Travels of Baron Trump or something like that. What a coincidence that, or is it a coincidence? Now, meanwhile, of course, Keir Starmer today has been banging on about that he doesn't want division in the UK. He wants the UK to band together. He wants the UK to support one another. An interesting little shite he is. A very interesting little shite. I mean, this is a man that banged 3 Ukrainians who then went on to set fire to his flat. And I think it was 2 of his vehicles. A man that lived at Lord Ali's house while he was banging Lord Ali, and Lord Ali was sending Victoria Starmer underwear and and stockings and stuff like that. Let's hope to God that Starmer hadn't worn those before actually Ali sent them. Let's remember also that Lord Ali gave Keir Starmer and his son were living at Lord Ali's flat in London for quite a while. Not sure whether or not the 3 Ukrainian rent boys frequented the flat. Nobody seems to know. There is, of course, a gagging order on all of this information that is not allowed to be spoken about in the press. But of course, I'm not really the press, so I'm kind of exempt. So yeah, very, very interesting. The same Starmer that has done nothing to stop the boats, the same Starmer that has got no plans to stop the boats, the same Starmer that continues to tell everybody that he is going to stop the boats and isn't doing anything about it. This, of course, is the same Starmer that lied to Donald Trump about the freedom of speech in Britain when 12,000 people in the UK have been locked up for freedom of speech violations, and yet in Russia the number is only 563. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, which is the communist country? Starmer, of course, is linked in the Epstein files. As you well know, you should know that by now. He will also be linked to a lot of other people. Starmer's linked to Mandelson. Mandelson, of course, is linked to Andrew. Andrew, once again, is linked to Epstein. All of the royal family are clearly complicit because they knew all about Epstein. They knew all about the Epstein connection. I mean, there was photos of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell sat on the throne of England, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very sacred place. You know, you just don't take the piss like that. But, of course, Andrew broke all those rules. Not to mention that, of course, we've got the Met Police, who are clearly the Royal Protection Officers, are clearly complicit in covering up crimes of the royals, okay, not only to protect their own jobs, but of course to protect the monarchy. So it's all coming out, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't think it's going to be too long before, of course, we see the results. Anyway, it's been a great evening. Many thanks for joining me tonight. Keep sending your stuff. Don't forget to keep sharing the videos. It doesn't matter whether you think they've been shared to places. It doesn't matter. Just do it anyway. Remember, there might be just one person that watches the video that not only has a laugh, but goes, oh, yeah, I remember that. That's a great point. And I had a conversation today with one of my customers who is, I wouldn't say awake, but she was very, very willing to learn. And she now is doing some research into the Federal Reserve, the financial system, et cetera, after I briefly explained to her what it was all about. We spoke for about half an hour regarding COVID, regarding the jabs, regarding the rules and regulations, regarding the destruction of the UK, et cetera. So it was a very interesting afternoon. And, of course, I got paid for it. Now, we have, of course, got 55 people in the house. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I will see you all again tomorrow for another exciting episode of the Fruit and Nut News. Anyway, take care. Have a great evening. Love you loads. We'll see you all again soon. Cheers, bye.